Hello and welcome to another video of Biweekly building. Today it's a pretty cool video, I would say, because this week, in fact yesterday, is my 10-year anniversary of playing Minecraft. Yes, I know, 10 years of this block game. Started, if anyone wants to know, on the Minecraft Pocket Edition Lite. The Lite edition of Pocket Edition. What a masterpiece. It was terrible. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It was pretty bad. It did not have half of the stuff in the game, but my word, I made it work. And then for Christmas, I got Minecraft, the actual Pocket Edition. That was pretty cool, and I basically played that until I got my PC in 2019. And yeah, been playing Java ever since and haven't looked back, because my word, Pocket Edition is something. It works, but it's based on Bedrock, which I don't particularly like. But anyway, been rambling. What are we building? We're building a wall. Yes, don't take that beyond this video. It's a medieval wall protecting this sort of valley. This location took so long to find, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. But in this build, I thought I'd sort of try out a new method of texturing. New. I've been using it before, but never in a video. But it's based off of texturing that B-Dubs showed off in a video a few months ago, actually. When he built the giant, sort of bridge thingamajiggy that he put the Ender Dragon egg in when he's doing his building with B00 series. And it's basically, the idea is you get a gradient, right? And a lot of people use gradients in building so that you can sort of draw the eyes up to a focal point, or to just see the whole thing. And you use this gradient along with the sort of texturing to sort of resemble, I guess, the material. So with this one, it's made up big bricks. So I basically, B-Dubs, the idea is that you take the gradient, and because there's loads of bricks or grey coloured blocks, you can then make two sort of a 1x2 brick or a 1x3 brick, and loads of brick sort of shapes, and then implement that into the gradient, and you get this. And he used a lot of contrast because the build is really far in the distance, so you get the texturing really up close, whereas I wanted it a bit sort of closer, so I have a lower contrast gradient. The lighter blocks are at the top and the dark blocks are at the bottom to get that gradient. But it works really nicely, actually. It's one of my favorite texturing techniques for bricks now. It just works really, really nicely. There's also some other stuff that I want to talk about. The shaders, they're new shaders. Hope you like them. They're sort of more realistic. I thought I'd just try them out for this build. If you like them, let me know. I think they look a bit more realistic. Unfortunately, they don't have any sort of fog in the distanced fog. They do have actual fog, but it's sort of like a overlay for the screen, so it's not great. But yeah, oh well. But yeah, the back to the build. A lot of build stuff. So the way I implement the texturing is basically I get the shape, and then I go brick by brick and assemble it, and then see how that works. Maybe change a couple bricks around, and then eventually you get something that looks like that. So yeah, I also, for the roofs, there's a lot of new stuff in this build. For the roof, I used the debug stick for the first time, and I used that to basically manipulate walls to get a nicer sort of curve. I also used technically anti-aliasing, and the way that works, for everyone that doesn't know, is you have two textures and they're diagonally next to each other, and then you have a slightly less opaque version, so a translucent color on the sort of, I guess if we use squares, it's next to those, so you get like an X of the diagonal line of the solid texture and diagonal line of the translucent texture, and it means that you get a smoother diagonal. And I used that on the roof as well to get the smoother sort of curve, and that worked really well as well. And the spires, the top of the sort of weird cone, I don't actually know what that shape is called, let's call it a cone. The top of that it's really tall, and I think I borrowed that sort of idea from somebody on Reddit. I don't actually know who it was, but yeah, you basically get walls, fences, iron bars, candles, and you just go right the way up, really far, and yeah, it works quite well as sort of a really tall bit. You can put flags on it, etc., which is what I've done here. Yeah, it looks quite nice. That's everything I've got written down in my notebook, so now I've got to improvise. Okay, what are we doing? We're doing the wall, texturing the wall. So yeah, there you can see the how I do my sort of texturing, going brick by brick or sort of block by block and stuff like that. And I'm sort of doing the top and the bottom, and then filling in the middle. That sort of seemed to work quite well. And yeah, doing the elevation changes was quite hard, because a lot of the sort of images of walls on Google have it on, like, you know, flat ground, or have like a sort of everything is on an incline, including the ground. But this, it's got basically flat ground and then an incline, and the incline is just too wide to put a tower on, so I had to sort of improvise and come up with like a stair sort of design. And I don't really know if I've seen it in real life, you know, but it works. I managed to put crenellations on it, so, you know, and technically it's defensible. So yeah, does mean that there's differing heights, so it would actually be quite a lot easier to assail that bit of the wall. But yeah, oh well. I mean, the towers don't even have battlements, so, you know, it's not really a very defensible wall. It looks cooler than it is usable. But now we're doing the buildings, and I decided to think about this part of the build logically. What would a defensive wall need? It probably needs stables, a barracks, kitchen, maybe an armory, a blacksmith, and so that's what I built. Built an armory, built a stable, a blacksmith, barracks, an officers' quarters, and a kitchen / vessel area. Yeah, I popped all that in there, and did a bit of the path and stuff like that. But yeah, I used the same technique for the texturing on those buildings as the wall, just to make it fit in and stuff like that. I gave them thatched roofs though. I did try out copper, but it didn't really sort of look the same. It didn't look right, is what I'm trying to say. It was just one of those feelings where you're like, something's a bit off with that, and I tried it with a thatch and it looked a bit better, and luckily the colours are in the build anyway, so it doesn't really stick out too much. But yes, the texturing, it is quite time consuming, because usually if I'm texturing, I'll just build the shape out of one of the blocks and then I'll world edit some texturing. But this one, you have to go through every single block and texture it, which is, I mean, it's a better product, but it takes so much more time. But yes, we're nearing the end of the build and we're doing some landscaping. Yes, because the wall is, it's a wall. I wanted sort of a path, it's people living here, and I wanted to do the landscape as well. So I filled in a load of holes. There were so many caves. Oh my word, so many caves. And some of them were in really, really annoying locations as well, like up the side of a cliff. It was oh, that's fun. But I got it done, and there we go. I used a new command, /flora, and it basically creates grass and some flowers, and then I replaced that with grass, fern, spruce saplings, mossy cobblestone, and mossy cobblestone slabs to get some rocks. And it turned out looking pretty good, I think. And then the path, you'll notice it just sort of ends, it just stops. And that's because I didn't really want to build more than would be visible in the screenshot for the thumbnail, and to be honest, the path could have gone on forever. So I just I gave it a little bit of a fade out at the end, and I made sure that it was fully visible for the screenshot. But it's a path. It's not very interesting. But these trees, on the other hand, these also have some debugged walls for the bottom of the trunk, because they've got really thin trunks, it's just walls and fences. So to get some more detail, get it widening at the bottom, you add some debugged walls. But anyway, the video is nearing the end. Enjoy these cinematics, and I'll see you in 2 weeks, because I'm going to Rome next week, so I can't record a video. But I'll see you in 2 weeks, and goodbye.